Hello everyone, Sahan here with another video. I've decided to change things up a bit for this video. I was wearing a hoodie and I decided not to change, and to be honest, I'm feeling pretty comfortable so far, so we'll see how that one holds up down the road. And for another, apparently I'm on a streak to read most of Dostoevsky's works, no matter short or long. For this video, I've decided to give you guys an overview of his novella, White Nights, and it was a pretty enjoyable read, to be honest. Without further ado, let's get into it. To start things off, this is a very short story of about 80 or so pages long. And this is perfect for two reasons. The first and the most obvious one is that the gratification that you're going to get from reading such a short story is going to be obviously considerably higher compared to those longer ones. And the second one is if you're Dostoevsky and you want to only juice out two characters, then 80 pages is the new normal for him. So justified. So the length justified. The story tells the tale of an isolated man who one night runs into a 17-year-old girl, and they talk over the course of 4 nights with a conclusion on the morning of the fifth. But let's first discuss the paradox in the title of the book. Now, when someone usually thinks of what a night is, unless you're coming from a different planet in which night means a totally different thing than what it does on Earth, then you're going to invariably mark a night as the time of a day in which there is lack of light, hence the whole dark aspect of it, just as the life of our protagonist looked like before meeting Nastenka, the 17-year-old girl, both literally and metaphorically. So these 4 days are so bright compared to his other days that in a way one could say they are white, namely full of hope with endless possibilities. And as I mentioned earlier, our protagonist is an isolated man, and as he explains it, he sees himself as a dreamer. And when he's asked what he means by that term, he explains like this, that he is not someone who is isolating himself just because he has dread of social intercourse with the general populace, or because he's feeling depressed for the moment, but that he merely enjoys the way in which he sees the world through his dreams. And the point that I'm trying to make here is not to explain to you how he's going about his life from day to day, but for you to understand that these 4 nights, in a way, are not that very different from all the other time that he spent dreaming. In a way, the boundary between reality and dream for him is broken and is non existent. So, with that out of the way, I feel somewhat comfortable to discuss what the rest of the story is really all about. It's a perfect love triangle between the protagonist, Nastenka, and the guy who Nastenka fell in love with about a year ago. So, at the day that these two people ran into each other and got introduced to one another, Nastenka accepted the friendship request from the protagonist simply because she was lonely and she had no one to talk to other than her grandma, whom, by the way, she thought as being outdated and very obstructive and limiting. And for that reason, he thought that her and him can have conversations during the next couple of nights. And that's what happens. They converse over the course of 4 nights in which they get introduced to one another and they try to provide themselves with advices on the problems that they are facing at the moment. And that is really it. You have to read the story, the entirety of the 80 pages or so, in order for you to get a full understanding of the thing that happens on the morning of the 5th. But the generality of the story and the core of it remains all the same as I described it to you. There is one more point that I'm trying to make, and that is that Dostoevsky portrays the protagonist as more noble compared to other men basically because of his lower socioeconomic status and because he is isolating himself from the society so much that he is not entangled in those kind of social norms that are very destructive in my opinion. And by the way, this is a perfect book for whoever who hasn't read Dostoevsky at all, and it serves as a great introduction to those kinds of people. And even though I started with his longer ones, I enjoyed this book all the same, and I hope that you liked it. If you have any other comments, and if you feel like that I missed out on any important points on the story itself, that is, if you have read the book, then feel free to leave a comment down below. If you don't, that's great. If you enjoyed it, at least like smash the like button. I mean, that will help the channel to get to more reviewers, to more viewers. Sorry, I'm losing my sense of talking. And until the next video, please stay safe and read more.